Hello and welcome to Pimp My Slides. Pimp My Slides is all about producing high-performing presentations that will convert, influence and win business with me, Ash Pemberton, PowerPoint Millionaire. I can so call myself that because I've produced over 1 million PowerPoint slides for some of the biggest and best clients in the world over the past 20 or so years. I can also call myself that because the presentations and pitch docs that I've designed over the years have won literally tens of millions of pounds for my clients. And I can also call myself that because I own a graphic design agency that specializes in PowerPoint that turns over £500,000 a year. So I want to share some of my best practices, some of my knowledge with you, and I have put together 2 training courses. Training course A is a starter pack. In that I'm going to teach you the 6 steps that you need to have real PowerPoint perfection. If you want to have a branded credentials or sales deck to agency standard design, I can show you how to do that for yourself in 6 steps. And workshop B is for workshop strategy. This is more for people who want to use PowerPoint slides to sell online learning, to give people information and deliver strategy and learning in a really engaging way. This one I describe as how to deliver bite-sized chunks of e-learning. What I'd like to do now is just quickly run you through the 6 steps in each of these 2 courses. Number 1 is how to collate your brand assets. Number 2 is how to build a time-saving template. In number 3, I'm going to show you how to build a box of tricks, which is a set of graphics and resources that you can pull into your presentations. Number 4 is where to find and how to use world-class images. Number 5 is some really useful design tips to help you design each page of your presentation within the template. And number 6 is the PowerPoint trade secrets that I've learned over 25 years of my love affair with this piece of software. In workshop B, so course B, this is all about best practice, what the management consultants do to deliver training and strategy. Number 2 is setting off with learning objectives and why that's a really important stage when you're teaching people online. Number 3 is to work up your process. Here I'll show you how to design a marketing model that's actually your intellectual property that you can then work through and keep referring to throughout your training course. Number 4 is some of the benefits of using really familiar formats, so recognizable stages that are stages of e-learning that people are familiar with and therefore become quite used to seeing, and it just aids the learning process. Number 5 is using revealing animations to help explain your learning. And number 6 is one-page wonders. So these are like strategy on a page or everything you need to learn on a single page that you can give people as downloads. So today, within the 40-minute kind of window that we've got, rather than giving you a taste of all of them, I think what I'd like to do is show you one section in one complete section, and that section would be world-class images. The reason why I've chose this is because it almost stands alone, this module. You can benefit from what you'll learn and you can actually put it into practice immediately, and you don't necessarily need to have all of the other elements in place to be able to benefit from that. So without further ado, let's go into Starter Pack A and let's focus on Section 4, world-class images. So in 40 minutes, by the end of this session, you will know all about image copyright and the law. I'm not going to spend too long on this, but you do need to specifically know some things to make sure that you can operate within the law and still use world-class images in your presentation. You will also know the 6 best resources to use to find brilliant images, and I'm going to demonstrate them to you and show you exactly how I use them and what I use them for. And then finally, at the end we're going to design a killer front cover using some of the images that we've designed, and I'm going to show you exactly how to develop and design a killer front cover in less than 5 minutes. So without further ado, let's start with the law. Here you can see a copyright symbol that's been turned on its side. It's actually a bit like a lock. It looks like a lock, but I'm going to show you how to unpick that lock and use copyright protected images within the law and get brilliant results from doing it. So very quickly, under the Federal Copyright Act of 1976, photographs are protected by copyright from the moment of creation, so as soon as you take them. According to the US Copyright Office, the owner of the work is generally the photographer or sometimes the employee of the photographer. So my advice to you here is, if you want to have total control of your images and total copyright of them, take them yourself and then they belong to you. I'm breaking out of PowerPoint now to just show you a very quick tip. If you're in PowerPoint or any Microsoft application and you need to write a copyright symbol, all you need to do is bracket, C, bracket, and you can see that it automatically converts that into a copyright symbol. If I do undo, you'll see there the actual keystrokes that I took, and if I press redo, you can see PowerPoint and any Microsoft application will automatically turn that into a copyright symbol. Next, let's talk about the worst case scenario. What to do if you're actually caught infringing copyright. So if you've commercially profited, this is a really important stage. If you've actually made money out of the use of images that you're not allowed to do, then the court will prohibit you from using that material without consent. A federal judge may impound that material and ask you to actually destroy that material. But this is the worst case scenario if you are caught. So bear that in mind. The worst case scenario, if, seems to be that you have to pay what you would have paid to use it, and you've got to stop using it without rights. I'm now going to jump on to a cartoon that I've downloaded which sums up my solution and my philosophy on copywriting and design in general. All good designers, all good artists copy, they all steal, and they steal shamelessly. So that's my number one tip to you. Do not be afraid to search the world's best resources, find the best images and use them. This is what designers do. All designers will search, do research, find things and then adjust it and tweak it and make it fit their actual design brief. It's a perfectly normal stage. So steal shamelessly is my advice. Number two is, I'm going to show you how to use the world's best images and, where needed, when to add a source and, if needed, to contact the artist. I'm also going to show you when and tell you when to use a paid for or a royalty-free image. And that's basically when you're publishing, so that's printing, but it's also publishing online for commercial use. So if you're putting it on the front page of your website, yes, you do need to pay for that image or use a royalty-free image. But if, however, you're doing a presentation to a handful of people in a closed environment and it's just going to be put up on screen, no, you do not need paid for or royalty-free images. You can use any image in the world. So let's now work our way through these 6 world-class image banks, and I'm going to show you exactly what I use them for and how I do it. So let's start number 1 with Google Images. So if I go into Google Images and I do a search for Heineken, you're going to see I get a lot of official branded imagery. Some of it will be quite good, let's have a look. Some of it will be pixelated. It's very good for logos and so on, but there's one particular trick that I want to show you right now, and that's if you click Tools and then you search by size and only search for large images. What Google is now showing me is decent high-res images that I can use on a PowerPoint slide as a background without my image being pixelated or being too small or not looking good when we actually project it onto a screen show. So instantly, what do I like here? I mean, this is the first one that really caught my eye. I like it because it's clean, it's simple, and it's exactly the type of thing that we'd find on Google. It's a pretty good size, so I'm just going to paste that into that slide and go back. I also quite like the look of this one, and in fact you can see, because I'm using Google Images, once I've clicked into it, it shows me some similar images, and in fact, although I like that one, I think I prefer this one even more. So I'm now going to copy that one, paste it in to my PowerPoint, and you can see, yeah, that's a really good size. That's the advantage of searching for large images in Google. Gives me good quality images. Google is also excellent for logos. So if I change the word there to Heineken logo and click into this one, let's copy that image, take that into PowerPoint. Really nice size, good quality PNG. PNG means it floats on a transparent background. So a really nice quality Heineken logo there. I know that's the beer logo, and if I wanted to actually present to the company Heineken, you can see, I mean, I know this because I've been doing it for a long time, I'd have to use their corporate logo. So if I click onto their corporate logo and then copy this image and paste that in, this one is on a white background. Now there's going to be times that that's very restrictive for me. So what I may want to do is type in Heineken corporate logo, and then let's see if I can find one that's a PNG. That looks like it is. You can normally tell it is by the checkered background. So let's copy that one, paste it in. It did not work. Now this will happen from time to time when you're using when you're trying to find PNGs. So that one is actually an SVG, which is a scalable vector logo. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to visit that actual website, and I'm going to save that image as Heineken Corporate SVG, and then from there I'm going to Heineken Corporate SVG. I'm going to bring that in, and now you can see it just wouldn't copy and paste, but by saving that, I've now got a really nice big quality copy of the Heineken corporate logo that's not on a white background. So that would be my preferred choice. And what we're actually doing here is collating the brand assets that I can then use in a presentation. I know I've got good quality graphics, and I'm going to use them throughout my presentation. So there's one other thing that we might want to use Google for, what it's very good for, and that's by adding the word wallpaper to your search. You get Heineken wallpaper. So again, I'm going to make sure that I'm searching large files only, because I want large, good quality, high resolution images. And by using the search term wallpaper, what we're now looking at are some really professionally designed, I mean, let's take this one for example. It's been doctored, it's a comedy, a comedy piece, so I'm not going to take that one. But this one, for example, it's quite a nice bit of photoshopped art that potentially I could definitely be using in my presentation. You know, it's beautiful branded imagery. And let's just see, let's pick one more wallpaper that looks a bit stunning. Quite like these ones. This one as well is very nice. Champions League one. I mean, that is classic. That's a pretty beautifully textured image. You can see the bottle, the bubbles in the bottle. So I'm going to copy that one and paste that one in too. And again, it's a good size. So that's the type of imagery that we can expect to get from Google searches. Next up is Getty images. So Getty images are without doubt the world's best image bank. They are phenomenal. But what they're not great at is branded imagery. So let's just do a search for Heineken, and you can see instantly Getty, I haven't signed into Getty by the way, just so that you can see this. Getty instantly gives me horse racing and rugby images, because that's who Heineken sponsor, and these are editorial images, extremely tight copyright licenses on all of these images. I don't want them. I want creative images in Getty. And you can see it's not good for branded images. Getty's not where you come for that. But what Getty is incredibly special at is very specific image requests. So if I wanted beer and I wanted a couple drinking, and it's got to have a green bottle because that's what Heineken has. Let's have a look. So yeah, with that very specific image search, you can see, although it's not actually Heineken, it's a green bottle that looks close enough. It's a pretty symbolic bottle that Heineken have. These ones are generic, but they're pretty good. And this is what Getty is exceptionally good at. So let's take, for instance, I mean, there's so many now. Let's take, let's have a look at the next page too. Let's go to the previous. I can just take this couple here. Let's take this couple. So this is Getty Images, and you can download a comp. Comp is a short word for a composition. Let me close that and show you exactly what I've got. So I go to my downloads, I take my latest file, and I put it into Pimp My Slides. So this is what I downloaded from Getty. It's a 72 DPI watermarked image. And I just also want to show you this amazing policy and read it to you. When you're downloading a comp from Getty, you're welcome to use our free images free of charge, use our images free of charge in your work in progress projects for a test sample purposes only for up to 30 days of the download. So there we go. Any image that you download from Getty, and bear in mind, these are the world's finest images with the world's finest search engine, you can use for free at 72 DPI for 30 days. So if you have a really important presentation, yes, you can use this image bank. So I've downloaded that image. I'm also now just going to zoom in to Getty, and I'm going to do a screen grab using my screen grab tool, and I'm going to take that image at 72 DPI, which is screen resolution, and I'm going to paste it in. So there you can see, with Getty, you're more likely to get really specific, tailored images if you're looking for something very particular. Okay, next up is Unsplash. So Unsplash is, without a doubt, they call it themselves, the world's greatest freely available source of images. So anything that you get in Unsplash is completely free and usable. So if I was to search for Heineken, yeah, there are a few Heineken images. Where this will differ to something like Getty is you would never be able to put couple drinking beer bottle. It just doesn't have that much of a sophisticated search engine. But you've seen what it has is a reasonable selection, 10 or so, maybe 12 Heineken images that are free for you to use. Out of all of them, I think I quite like this one the most. So I'm going to download that image for free, and what it does that's quite handy is it allows you to just copy this reference. So when I'm using it now, I can paste in the reference, or I could even do it here, paste in that reference, as well as go to my downloads, copy that image, put that into my folder, Pimp My Slides folder, and bring that into PowerPoint, and there we go. I've got a pretty good image that I know was a photo by Christian Gertenbach on Unsplash. There's my reference. It's all fairly quick and easy to do. So Unsplash, not as good as Getty in terms of search engine, and let me just show you that by typing, if I was to do beer, couple, drinking, I'm not going to get the selection. Did I do drinking, or maybe I do green bottle? So it's the same as the other search. You see, I'm not going to get the wonderful, in fact now it's completely, you know, the search engine isn't good. This is not at all what I'm looking for. Not like when I was searching on Getty. It really did show me lots and lots of images for beer, couple, drinking, green bottle, whereas Unsplash, not as good. But that's what you get from a free library. So not bad at all. Next up is DeviantArt. So DeviantArt's been going quite a while, and I would use DeviantArt for abstract photos. What you will find that you get on here is some really wacky stuff that is definitely not approved by the brand standards that fans and enthusiasts have put together for themselves. And the first one that really jumps out to me is this very peculiar odd image. So I'm going to use that. Like most people in corporate Heineken would absolutely hate that image. It's not at all on brand. It's not how they want to represent their beer. So let's have a look at all of these and give you a real flavour for what DeviantArt's all about. You're going to get some images on here that just are unusual. Like for instance this one. This is quite fun. So it's been treated, it's been shot. It's a pair of cool trainers treading on a Heineken can. It's really unusual. I'm actually not going to take that one because I just don't like it. But here's another one. This is what I would describe as fan art. It's a real life photo of a Heineken bottle and glass. You know, it's not a stage shot. It's not a branded shot. It's not an official shot. It's just unusual and out there. So that's again the type of stuff that you can expect to get on DeviantArt. Pintrest. I'm sure many of you know about Pintrest. Pintrest is, let's search for Heineken here. Pintrest is, I find, exceptionally good at giving you design inspiration. So here I might even do the Heineken wallpaper search that we did in Getty. Yeah, that we did in Google. It's not bad. It's not where I'd come for my wallpapers. Google is way better for that. But if I wanted some like vintage posters, Pinterest is going to be absolutely excellent for this. It's good for design inspiration. It's a really good place to start your research. So I'm just going to take a snapshot of all of that, and I'm going to paste that into my Pinterest page just to kind of remind me that this is what Pinterest is good for. Next up, let's take a look at Noun Project. So if you don't know Noun Project, it is absolutely the world's best resource for icons. It just has a phenomenal amount of icons, and again a really good search engine to try and find unusual icons that really do help you describe what you're looking for. So let's do a search now for Heineken, as we've done throughout, and you can see, yeah, that is near enough. That is the bottle that I was expecting with the red star, so that's pretty good. Let me see if I can do another one and just search for beer bottle. Okay, nothing quite as iconic as that other one, so beer bottle red star, let's have a look for. Oh, that's absolutely the one I'm looking for. That to me says Heineken, and it's bang on. I really like that. So what you can do with Noun Project is, I think I'm logged in just using my Facebook account, but what you can do is you can just click to get this icon and choose just the basic downloads. When I click that, it says, how would you like to download this icon? As a PNG, which is portable network graphic, that's transparent background, or SVG, which is scalable vector graphic, and I'm going to show you the difference between the two. So I'm just going to pick up those two different graphics that I've downloaded. I'm going to drop them into Pimp My Slides, and I'm now going to bring those two into my PowerPoint presentation. So you can see here there's two different ways. This is the PNG. The PNG, if I'd wanted to get rid of that source, what I'd have to do is I'd have to crop it out, crop that file down, and then I have a pretty nice Heineken beer bottle which I can recolor, but I'm limited to how many different ways I can recolor it, very limited in fact. Or I can add some kind of artistic effect to it. Quite like that one. So this is what you can do with PNGs, and these of course are transparent, so you can drop them on top of any other image. Now this one is the one that I really wanted to show you. What we do here is we ungroup that object, ungroup it again, and it's turned that into PowerPoint objects. I'm just going to regroup that back one, and you can see I can scale it. This is a scalable vector graphic. What that means is now that these are actual PowerPoint shapes, so I can color it absolutely any color I choose. So let's go for a green, and that star would be red. For Heineken, maybe that sort of color. And this is quite a nice graphic that I can use throughout, and I've just managed to source that from Noun Project very quickly, very easily, and for free. So, quick recap: logos, wallpapers, high resolution from Google, Getty images for really specific image requests and detail that if you're looking for something very, very particular. Unsplash, the best resource for free images. If I was going to publish this on my website, I could use that image. I couldn't use the Getty one unless I paid for it. I couldn't use the Google search unless I'd sourced them or made sure that it was actually an image. But anything from Unsplash you can use on your website and you can use to gain commercially. Then we've got DeviantArt, if you're looking for something a bit wacky. Here, if you wanted to use these images, you would have to contact the individual artist via DeviantArt. So that's just one thing to be aware of. Pintrest, I would say, is brilliant to start your research, to get creative inspirations and ideas. And then finally, we've got Noun Project, which gives you scalable icons, vector icons, or PNGs, very quick and easy to download. So the challenge was how to design a killer cover in 5 minutes or less. So let's crack straight on and do exactly that. I'm going to pull up a slide and I'm going to go to my Heineken image that I got from Google. I'm going to size that. It fits perfectly because I did the Google search for wallpaper. And then I'm just going to quickly get this copy, which could be the title of my slide. I'm going to recolor this element here just to fit with Heineken. Let's put it there. And let's turn that one white. And probably I'd want a Heineken logo in there. So let's take this one from this brand assets page that I put together. Now, as you can see, for me that doesn't work so well. The green on green is probably not how I'd want to display Heineken's logo there. So I'm just going to very quickly go back into, where are we? Into Heineken on the Google search, and I'm going to say Heineken corporate logo white. And there we go. I can see, although it's hidden because it's white on white, I knew what I was looking for. But what I'm doing is I'm copying that image and I'm just going to paste that in. So now what I've got is Heineken's corporate logo in white, and that is a pretty good front cover for my slides. I might just make that a little bit smaller, it just feels a little bit big, and let's push it to the side. Yeah, that's a pretty good cover designed in record time. But let's show you some other options because we've still got time on our hands. If I was to use this one from Unsplash, let's paste that in at the back. Let's resize that image to fill my entire page. Here, this one doesn't quite fit the page, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop that to fit my slide, and then I'm just going to push that detail up. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. Now, how would I get my text to fit on there? Let's have a look. A lot of the time, when you have like these textured images, they don't really fit anywhere. So one solution that I use quite regularly is just to draw a rectangle coming off the side of the page. Draw that, and you can either fill it with a very dark color. Let me get rid of the outline, and just put a little transparent overlay over it. And then let's bring this to the front, and let's turn that all white. So this one, maybe just keep it a little bit darker, just to make those letters really pop. How to design a killer cover in less than 5 minutes. To keep it really Heineken-y, maybe we'd fill that green. It doesn't really work so well. Let me just duplicate that cover, and maybe let's turn it white and turn the text dark. How to design a killer cover in 5 minutes or less. Just feel that that just needs a little bit more space there. And let's get the Heineken logo into place. Again, I'll try and use the corporate logo. Does that fit anywhere nicely? You can't really see it there or there. So the option would be as well to put it in on the white, or maybe just simply to use the white version again here, which I quite like. So I would probably say, I mean, there's not much in it, but I'd say that one is slightly better. And I just want to show you one more version now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this image, and I'm going to paste that in. I'm going to make it really large and just do it like typically what designers do. Bleed it off the page, have it a little bit at an angle. Just try and come up with something that looks quite designy. So this little thumbnail down here is how I'm viewing it. Let's now put a rectangle in the background with like a Heineken green, no outlines, sent to the back. Let's fill this shape Heineken green, and then just go to more fill colors. A little trick here is just to make it either a little bit darker or a little bit lighter. Let's go for a little bit lighter than your background. And you've got like this symbolic Heineken shape to it. Let's then also take your title and maybe even color that the same. It looked better before. Here we could turn that into a Heineken red. How to design a killer cover. And again, I'm going to use the white logo just because I think that fits really nicely there. So within the 5 minutes, because I'm sticking to that, you know, I've got 3 different covers that I've designed from sourcing images very quickly, very easily. And yeah, that is pimping my slides to management consultancy agency standard level. I hope you've learned some tips and tricks here and seen some best practice. All of the slides that all of the resources, the websites will be listed on my downloadable sheet. So don't forget to download that. And I hope you've enjoyed this and found it useful. Thank you.